Hello learners. In this lecture, we will try to solve the problem on the mixed design. So we'll start like this. So this is a question what is given to us. Okay. The grade is already given. We need to make use of M40 grade. That is M40 grade of concrete we need to prepare. The type of cement what is given is ordinary Portland cement, which is of 43 grade. The maximum nominal size of aggregate is 20 We are using for it RCC work. The minimum cement content is given 320 kg per cubic meter, right? Then the maximum water cement ratio, what we have to use is 0.45. Workability, they have given us 100 slump. Okay, that means 100 slump you require. All these are from the site execution point of view. Okay, so these are the things what we usually consider. Exposure condition severe. So when it says severe, maybe somewhere in the coastal region and all, they are trying to put up the structure, right? We have seen that on what how we need to take care of the exposure condition. Method of concrete placing is pumping. That is, maybe let us say they are doing some high-rise buildings and all. Okay, let us say they are doing some high-rise building and all. Hmm, let us say, and when you go for a top floor and all, you need to pump the concrete with the help of a pump. So that is a pumping, right? Because we need to know what kind of placing you're going to adopt. If it is a pumping, then we need to keep workability little high. That means my concrete should be flowable, right? So all those things we need to ask the site people, like how you are going to pour the concrete, whether it is with the help of pumping, or you don't make use of pump, you are going to make use of the chute, the inclined chute what we have seen, right? Yeah. Then again, next is about degree of supervision. For degree of supervision, we need to understand one point here. See, for a degree of quality control expected under the site condition, this is called as degree of supervision, whether it is very good, good or fair. So what is very good? Fresh cement from a single source and regular test. You are bringing a cement from a single source and regularly you are going to test that. Way batching of all the materials, aggregate supplied in single sizes, control of aggregate grading and moisture control, control of water added, frequent supervision, regular workability in the strength test, and field laboratory facilities. Right? That means if you're working in some big companies and all, we have certain quality control checks and all. Every time the concrete comes to the site, we'll be doing the slump test, we'll be having a field laboratory also to carry out the compressive test and all. Right, then frequent supervision will be done, like the contractor will do the checking once, then we'll be having a client checking. Then sometimes we also involve the PMC people, right? Project management consultant, that is a third party people, they also come and do. So here what is happening, the quality control is expected to be very good, right? So that is why it is written very good here. But when it comes to good, carefully stored cement and periodic test, here it was regular test. Periodically you are going to test your cement. Way batching for all materials, controlled water, graded aggregate supplied, occasional grading and moisture test, periodic check of workability and strength. Again, it is a periodic check. Next is intermediate supervision and experienced worker. Intermediate supervision means you'll be not, let us say, you'll not involve the third party and all. Normal contractor and the client may check. So here it is like a good option. Next is fair. Fair in the sense proper storage of cement. You are going to make use of volume batching. Here it was way batching. And when it comes to volume batching, of course, the quality is going to come down. Volume batching of all the aggregates, allowing for bulking of sand, way batching of cement, water content controlled by inspection of mix, and occasional supervision and test. Then you have to consider this as a fair. So you have to tell what kind of situation are you in, right? What kind of projects you're working. Based on this, we are going to fix. So here what they have given in the question is that the degree of supervision is good. Yeah. Next is type of aggregate. We are going to make use of crushed angular aggregate. And we have seen that in angular aggregate, the strength will be good. There will be better interlocking between them. Right. So they are making use of crushed angular aggregate. Maximum cement content, this is 450 kg per cubic meter. And chemical admixture, yeah, we are going to make use of super plasticizers, right? So these are the things what we need to tell those concrete technologists or the mixed designer about how we want it. Next coming the test data. That means, see, now when you do the concreting work and all, you will be bringing the coarse aggregate, you will be bringing the fine aggregate and all, right? So these people will come to your site and they will take the sample from your site. Let us say you have stored a coarse aggregate here. Okay, let me do. So he's going to come and take a sample of the coarse aggregate from here. Let us say something from here, few coarse aggregate from here. This sampling should be done only from one place. You cannot take a coarse aggregate and do a test, because since you don't know exact quality of that, so you have to take it from different samples. I mean, let us say your stock, no, let me draw in this way. Let us say this is a coarse aggregate what your stock, okay, imagine in a 3D way. Then few aggregates will take from here, few aggregates you're going to take from here, few aggregates you're going to take from here, right? And again fine aggregate also we have to take. Then all those things we need to take, and we need to do the testing on that, sieve analysis test and all those things. So it's given here, cement used is, we are making use of OPC 43 grade cement. Specific gravity we have to do the test in the lab, so it has found to be 3.15. Okay, specific gravity for the cement we usually do with the help of a kerosene, that we have that flask, and with it's a flask something like this. Okay, and then we try to put a kerosene here, because if you put water and test, then water will react with cement, so that hydration will happen, so we will not get the value only. So we try to make use of the kerosene. So with that we'll try to see the specific gravity. First we'll put that, then we are going to put the kerosene, and by how much amount it's going to get displaced, that volume we'll try to find out. Then there are certain formulas for that. With that formula we can find the specific gravity. Chemical admixture it's given super plasticizer conforming to IS 9103. Again, when I speak of super plastic, it depends on which company super plasticizer you are going to use. Again, that also makes a difference from company to company. Next is specific gravity of coarse aggregate is 2.74, and specific gravity of fine aggregate is 2.74. Again, you have to take the aggregates, you have to do the sieve analysis and all, then you come to this conclusion. Water absorption in the coarse aggregate is 0.5%, and water absorption in the fine aggregate is 1%. Next is moisture content, it is nil here. Fine aggregate also it is nil. Sieve analysis for the coarse aggregate, this is the table what they have given, conforming to zone 1 and all those things, right? Yeah. So once these things are done, what we are supposed to do, we'll start with the target mean strength. How much strength we are supposed to get? We are supposed to get 40, right? So what we are supposed to do now, this is my formula. F dash ck will be always fck plus 1.65 into s. So fck is given, 40 is the target strength. Now what you are supposed to do, put 40 here in the place of fck. I'll do it here, it's already done. Just see what I'm trying to explain. Yeah, f dash ck is equal to fck is 40 plus 1.65 into s is the standard deviation. Now from where you get this standard deviation, we have to see the values for standard deviation. So for that, give me a minute, I'll open that. Yeah, so this is a standard deviation. Assume standard deviation is what we have. Our grade of concrete is how much? The grade of our concrete is 40. Now for M40 grade of concrete, try to see what is the standard deviation given. So this M30, 35, 40 all falls under this category. And for this, we have to assume the standard deviation is 5.0. Simple. So what you're supposed to do, 1.65 into 5 is what you're supposed to do. That's what they have done. 40 plus 1.65 into 5 we got from there. Try to do this manually. Okay, you're going to get 48.25 Newton per mm square, right? Next is select of water cement ratio. So it's given that maximum water cement ratio we should take is 0.45. So what you're going to do now, we'll try to assume based on the experience, adopt a water cement ratio of 0.40, right? Now this 0.40 is what these people have taken in this textbook. Now it's not that you have to take 0.40 only, you can take even 0.41, 0.42 also. Okay, no one is going to stop you. But since they are based on the experience, when you try to do lot of mix design, you get certain idea for this particular mix, this is enough for us. So here they have taken 0.40, we'll go with the same value only, right? Yeah. So as per IS 456 2000, for RCC work, maximum water cement ratio for exposure condition it is given. If it is a mild exposure, it has to be 0.55. If it is moderate, 0.50. Severe, it is 0.45. Very severe, it is 0.45. And extreme, it is 0.40. From where we got, we already seen that, but still I'll show it once again. For RCC, this is table 4.7. For reinforced concrete, this is my exposure condition: mild, moderate, severe, very severe, and extreme. So here, what is given in our question? So I'll go back to the question. Yeah, it's in the next page. Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. So the exposure condition what they have given is severe for me, right? Now for severe exposure condition, I'll go to the PPT. This is my severe exposure condition. So we got that the exposure condition is severe. For severe exposure condition, uh, maximum water cement ratio free is 0.45, which we have seen there, and minimum cement content we have to use 320, right? These things we need to take from here. Now what we are supposed to do, we'll go back. Yeah, yeah. So it is given maximum is 0.45, but we are adopting 0.40. So my 0.40 is less than 0.45, hence it is okay, right? As far as possible, what maximum water cement ratio what we are going to adopt should not go beyond 0.45. That is where the code is restricting us. So we'll try to keep it within that limit. So it is 0.40 now. Next, once that is done, next what we are supposed to do, yeah, selection of water content. Refer the table 2 of IS 10262 2009. Note down the value of the quantity of water that is required for 20 mm aggregate. What do you understand by this? See, now this water, whatever we require, no, it depends on the aggregate that you're going to use. I'll go back to that. We'll see that again. So if you see it here, no, maximum water content per cubic meter of concrete for a nominal maximum size of aggregate. So in the question, I'll go back to the question. You need to be with me. It will take some time. Yeah. Yeah, it's given here, right? Maximum nominal size of aggregate, they have given 20 mm. So if the maximum nominal size is 20 mm, according to the table, nominal maximum size is 20 here, it's written. So the maximum water content what we can give is 186, right? So the same thing you can see in the PDF what I have here. So it's written 186. We'll go back to the PPT. Yeah. So you can see here the required water content what they have taken for 20 mm aggregate, it is 186 liters, right? But another thing we need to understand here, which I already explained you, this water, this table what they have prepared, no, this table is prepared for only 50 mm slump. Okay, they have standardized this table, they have written it here. The water content in this table of 4.8 is for angular coarse aggregate. That is, if you're using an angular coarse aggregate and if your slump is up to 50 mm, you can make use of this table. And that means 186 is the maximum water content what I can use. But the question what is given to us, yeah, the question what is given to us, he's telling us you have to use 100 mm slump. Question is in the table it is 50 mm, but the question what is given is 100 mm. That means we have to put a correction factor to this. So the same correction factor is already mentioned here. It is telling us that the required water content may be established by trial or an increase by about 3% for every additional 25 mm. If you are going for every additional 25 mm of slump, you have to give a correction factor of 3%, right? That's it. This is understood now. So I'll go back and we'll apply that. So what we are supposed to do, 186 is what we require, but our slump is how much? I'll do a quick calculation here. Just try to understand. See, the table what is given to us is for 50 mm, right? Good. There we have to give maximum water of 186. But the question what is given to us, he is telling us to keep a slump of 100 mm. I'll do it here. 100. Okay. So that means from 50 to 100, how much we have jumped? We have jumped by 50 mm. For we have jumped by 50 mm. And what the code is saying for every, I'll write it here again, concentrate. Yeah, the code is telling for every 50, 25 mm jump, not 50, for every 25 mm jump, you have to put a correction factor of 3%. We are jumping by how much percent? We are jumping by 50 mm. For 25, if it is 3%, then for 50 mm, how much it has to be jump? 3 plus 3, it has to be 6% jump, right? 6% additional water we need to consider to take care of that correction factor. The same thing you can see it here. Say for estimated water content for 100 mm slump is equal to 186 is what we got, plus 6, because this is a correction factor what I'm applying. So 6% of this water, 6 divided by 100 into 186 is what you are supposed to do, because 183 is from the table that we are getting, right? You try to do this, we are getting 196 liters, right? Good. Now the interesting part is that we have from the chapter 1 and chapter 2, from chapter 2 we understood that what super plasticizer can do for us. Super plasticizer is going to increase the what is going to reduce the water content in our concrete, and it's going to improve the workability, right? So we'll try to take the help of this super plasticizer, right? Because it is given in the question again, because these people are using super plasticizer in their concrete. If I go back, yeah, chemical admixture what they're using is super plasticizer. Okay, so then since super plasticizer is used, the water content can be reduced up to 30%. Now again, if you ask me why it is 30%, all this has come from the lot of research and lot of experimental investigation. But again, based on trials with the super plasticizers, water content reduction of 25% has been achieved practically. What they're trying to release 30% theoretically we can tell, but when we try to do the real mix design, we are going to get up to 29% of water content can be reduced. So what they have done now, percentage of the water content will be 100 minus 29, which comes out to be 71, right? So hence the arrived water content will be, we got it as 197 liters into, you multiply this by 0.71, because percentage of water content is 71, because this 100 we have taken minus 29%, we can do the deduction, right? Actually 30 we can do, but here we are considering 29. You can do 30 also, no one is going to stop you, but we'll take 29. 100 minus 29, that is 71% of water content. So how much water we have got? 197 liters of water we actually need to put. But since we are putting the plasticizer, this water content can be reduced. If you want to reduce this, what we are supposed to do? 197 into 0.71, which comes out to be 140 liters. That means what has happened now? What has happened now? Our water from 197, it has come to 140 liters, first thing. And then we'll try to make use of the super plasticizer. That's it. So in this, what will happen? No, we know that if water cement ratio is less, strength is going to come down. So we have reduced the water, no, from 197 to 140. So for the same water cement ratio, our strength, what we are supposed to get, no, we'll be getting more strength. And that is how the super plasticizer is going to do its work. Yeah, right? So up to here it's clear. Next is calculation of cement content. It's very simple. Cement content is equal to water content by water cement ratio. That means it's a very simple thing. Actually, water cement ratio is, this is how we try to write. Water cement ratio, how much we had taken, if you remember, water cement ratio we had taken 0.40, right? Yeah. Now what we need to find, we need to find the cement content. So what you need to, water is known to us 140 liters, and this ratio is known to us 0.40. What we are supposed to find? Cement, no, just cross multiply. If cement goes to that side, then cement will be, whatever is your water, you divide it by water cement ratio of 0.40. What is the water that you are going to use? 140 liters. So 140, you divide it by 0.40, you are going to get 350 kg per cubic meter of the cement we are going to use in this mixed design. Now this is what we are getting. We need to understand with the code. So as per IS 456 2000, for RCC work, minimum cement content in kg per cubic meter for exposure of mild, we should have minimum 300 kg per cubic meter. For moderate, it has to be 300. For severe, it has to be minimum 320. Huh? And for very severe, it is 340, and for extreme, it is 360. Now understand, what is our exposure condition? Our exposure condition is, yeah, yeah, okay, give me a minute, I'll be back. Yeah, our exposure condition is severe, right? So we'll go back here. Our exposure condition is severe, and according to the IS 456 code book, we'll see that also. Yeah. So if your exposure condition is severe, your minimum cement content has to be 320, right? Minimum it has to be 320. And how much we got from the calculation? We'll see that. From the calculation, we are getting 350. So 320 is greater than, 350 is greater than 320. Hence, whatever we have done is correct. So in this case, exposure condition given in the problem has severe. Therefore, minimum cement content should be 320 kg per cubic meter. And we are getting 350 from here. I'll do it. We are getting 350 from here, and we are also greater than the minimum requirement given by the code, hence it is okay. Done. So up to here, I hope it's clear. Next, it becomes very clear. Now, proportion of a volume of a coarse aggregate and fine aggregate. So if you refer table 2 of IS 10262 2009, note down the volume of coarse aggregate corresponding to 20 size aggregate and fine aggregate zone 1 of water cement ratio of 0.5, which is equal to 0.60. In this present case, water cement ratio what we have taken is 0.40, isn't it? In this particular case, the water cement ratio what we have taken is 0.40. Yeah, so you need to understand one more point here. Just concentrate on this portion. It's a bit tricky, but it's very simple to understand. What they're trying to tell us, refer table 2 of IS 10262 2009. Note down the volume of a coarse aggregate corresponding to 20 size aggregate and fine aggregate, right? So for this, what is trying to tell is, first I'll take you to that table. So this is the table what we need to refer, that is table 4.9. First thing. Second thing, before understanding the table, see the question again. In the question, They have given us few things. Go back to the question again. Yeah. So it's given here from the sieve analysis, conforming to table 2 of IS 383, and the fine aggregate what we are using, no, it is belonging to zone 1, right? The fine aggregate what we have, it belongs to zone 1. And what is the aggregate we are using? The size of the aggregate we are using is 20 mm. So now you may find it bit difficult to understand since it is the first time you are learning it. But once you finish this lecture, you will be in a position to understand in a more better way. So even though you're not able to understand, just continue with me. It's very simple to learn. Yeah. So what you're supposed to do now, come to this table. Only one thing you need to remember. Always we are going to make use of 20 aggregates only. So my job will be very simple now, right? Anyone can do this. See, this is that, give me a minute. Yeah. This is a table where I need to concentrate. That's it. Simple it is. Okay. Yeah. So nominal size of aggregate always it is 20 only for me. So always I have to refer this only most of the time. Now what is the sand that we saw, no? The fine aggregate what it is trying to tell us to which zone it belong, that you need to understand. To zone 1, isn't it? That is fine aggregate what we have conforming to zone 1 of table 4. Forget about the table. We'll see what table is that. But zone 1 is given. That's it. Go here. Under this, where is zone 2? Zone 1. This is zone 4 for me. Zone 3, zone 2 and zone 1, isn't it? So in the zone 1, what is the value written here? It is 0.6. This value what it has written, no, 0.6. That's it. You just need to remember the value 0.6. Come back to this particular sheet and you can see here what they have done. They have taken 0.6 here. Okay, that's it. Very simple. Next, again, there is a small trick here that you also need to understand, right? Yeah, just concentrate. See, now give me a minute. Yeah, yeah. What is written here? The values given in the table, this table is applicable only for water cement ratio of 0.5. Gone, right? That means this table what we have, no, this is applicable only for a water cement ratio of 0.5 and based on the aggregates in the saturated surface dry condition. If the water cement ratio is other than 0.5, what is our condition? Our water cement ratio is 0.4. That means this again table values what we have taken, they are not going to work out for my calculation, right? Yeah. So is used, then apply the correction factor. So this is a rule what we need to follow. Okay, it's very simple rule. What is trying to tell, no? First, forget about this word decrease here and here. Yeah, for every increase of 0.05 in the water cement ratio. Okay, if you're increasing your water cement ratio for every 0.05 in the water cement ratio, the above values, that means this value is what we got, no, like 0.6 or whatever, should be decreased. Now you remove this word increase here. Yeah, the above values will be decreased by 0.01. That means for every increase in the water cement ratio, I'll put it in this way, of 0.05, the above values what we have, no, this you have to decrease it by how much? 0.01. One way of understanding. Now the other way of understanding is that take out this increase now and take out, yeah, this decrease here. Now you understand this. For every decrease by 0.05 in the water cement ratio, see, how do you understand this? This entire table is made for 0.5 water cement ratio. Now let us say I have taken a water cement ratio of 0.6. That means from 0.5 my water cement ratio has gone to 0.6. That means it is an increase for me. So then I have to understand in the first way, that is for every increase in the water cement ratio of 0.05, the above value should be reduced by 0.01. Now let us say for our case, the water cement ratio what we have is 0.4, isn't it? That means this 0.4 is less than 0.5. Now you understand that is for every decrease. Now it has decreased, no? From 0.5, my value has gone to 0.4. That means it has decreased. For every decrease of water cement ratio of 0.05, okay, the above values, whatever we get from here, you have to increase this above values by 0.01 respectively, right? I hope this much is clear. Now, same thing we'll try to apply in our problem. See here. So in the present case, the water cement ratio what we have is 0.40. I'll write it here for time being. Yeah. So it will be very simple to understand, right? So our water cement ratio is 0.4, isn't it? right? And the table what we made, I'll write it here, 0.5 is a table we have. And from the table, how much we got? 0.6 is the value we got, right? If you don't remember, I'll go back to that again. Yeah. So this is the value we got, 0.6, isn't it? Yeah. So from the table, we got it as 0.6. I'll write it here again. Again, the table says that for every 0.05 increase in the water cement ratio, you have to decrease it by 0.01 in the above values, right? Now, what has happened? 0.5 is a table value, but our value is 0.4. That means it is a decrease. For every decrease of 0.05, you have to increase the above value by 0.01, right? Good. So from 0.5 to 0.4, how much decrease has happened? 0.1 decrease has happened. Simple. 0.5 minus 0.4 if you do, you will get 0.1. Now you try to put 0.1 here, 0.1, and do this elementary calculation what we used to do, right? If for one banana, if it is 5 rupees, five bananas, how much rupees? For 0.05 water cement ratio increase, if you have to decrease it by 0.01, if there is an increase of 0.1, how much we have to decrease? It's very simple. Do the cross multiplication. I'll do it manually. 0.1 into 0.01, and if I divide that by 0.05, I'm going to get 0.02. If you do this, 0.1 into 0.01 divide by 0.05, you're going to get how much? 0.02, right? So we have from 0.5 to 0.4 we have gone. That means we have decreased, right? We have gone down. So this value, this much value you have to increase. That means you can see it here, no? Now I'll try to read out this sentence. In the present case, the water cement ratio is 0.40. That is, for every 0.1 change in the water cement ratio, the volume of coarse aggregate is increased by 0.02. That is what we have got here. Therefore, the corrected proportion of a volume of a coarse aggregate for the water cement ratio will be how much? 0.60. This is the value what we got. For this, you add this 0.02. So 0.6 plus 0.02 will come out to be 0.62. Therefore, the volume of coarse aggregate is 0.60, 0.62. Now again, there is one more catch you need to understand. This is going long, but still you need to understand at any cost. That's it. Yeah. So for pumpable concrete, this value should be reduced by 10%. Therefore, whatever value you are going to get, now you have to reduce it by 10%. That is 100 minus 10 is equal to 90% of the above value. So therefore, the volume of a coarse aggregate will be 0.62 into, you take 90 divided by 100 of 90%, which comes out to be 0.56. Therefore, volume of fine aggregate will be, this is for coarse aggregate. And from total, if you deduct the coarse aggregate, you will get the fine aggregate. Therefore, volume of fine aggregate will be 1 minus 0.56, which is equal to 0.44. Now, why we have to do that? Again, it is told by the code. So it's written here. Just go through this once again. See what the code is trying to tell is, yeah, see, just concentrate on these words. If the placement of a concrete is done by a pump, or whenever is required to work around congested reinforcing steel. What do you mean by reinforcing steel? Suppose when you put up the column and all, no, we try to put more reinforcement. Usually when we do structure detailing, we don't try to do, because the code says that this is something RCC try to understand. The code says that the maximum percentage of the steel what you can give in the column is 4% when you're doing lapping. And if you're not doing a lapping, if you make use of the couplers and all, you have to go up to 6%. But practically when we do structural design and all, no, we try to keep up to 2.5 maximum, not more than that. Okay. But just in case, let us say there's a lot of conjunction. Yeah, you can see here, no, let us say this is a column. Okay, for example, consider this as column only. You can see a lot of reinforcement here. Now if your concrete is a bit harsh, it is not flowable, if it is not pumpable, then your coarse aggregate will not pass through this, right? So it will get stuck here. So if you want your concrete to pass through that, it has to be a very flowable concrete. That's what it's trying to tell us. If the placement of a concrete is done by pump, or if there is a concreting being done in the congested reinforcing steel, it may be desirable to reduce the estimated coarse aggregate, because if you have more coarse aggregate, then what will happen? A concrete will stuck. So instead of that, we'll try to decrease the coarse aggregate and we'll try to increase the fine aggregate, right? So that is why it may be desirable to reduce the estimated coarse aggregate content by about 10%. That is why we have done the 10% reduction, right? Yeah, I hope you have got an idea why those things are. If you don't want to do, you don't have to do that, no issues. But tomorrow when you put the, because doing a mixed design is not a big issue for me. But once I do this mixed design, no, people working in the site also should feel it in a, I mean, they should feel happy while pouring the concrete. If there is a congestion here, and if your concrete is not able to flow here, no, then they have to use vibrator for a long period of time. Then again the cement paste will come out, there will honeycombs and all. So whatever you've done on the paper, the same has to be implemented, no. So if that implementation should happen, we need to understand what this site people will face the problem. Taking those things in consideration, we do all these things keeping safety in our mind. Yeah, so that's it. Another two things are left out. Yeah, right. I hope it's understood up to here. So that is why we have gone here. Now you understood, no? From 0.62 we came to 0.56, and now we are getting 0.44. If you keep the same thing, no, what would have happened? The fine aggregate would have come down. If fine aggregate come, then cement paste will be less, so congestion will be more. That is the reason we have reduced it by 10%, right? Yeah. The last is a mix calculation. That's it. The last thing is very simple. Now what you are supposed to do? For volume of concrete, we know we always do our calculation for 1 cubic meter. To find the volume of cement, mass of cement divided by specific gravity of cement into 1 divided by 1000. Quickly you do that. Mass of cement, how much we had taken? 350 is what we had got. If you don't remember now, I'll go back to that quickly. We had got 350, right? Yeah. We have 350 here. You divide it by 3.15. This is specific gravity of cement. How do you get that? That is already given in the main things. I mean, here they were given specific gravity of cement is 3.15. Good. So multiply this, very simple. 1 divided by 1000 comes out to be 0.1 cubic meter of the cement is required. Volume of water, again mass of water divided by specific gravity of water into 1 divided by 1000. Mass of water is 140. Quickly I'll take you there. Yeah, 140 we got here, 140 liters. Put that 140 there. Okay. Yeah, divided by 1. Specific gravity of water is 1. Okay. Into 1 divided by 1000 comes out to be 0.140 cubic meter. Superplasticity is at 2.0% by mass of cementitious material. Always remember, when we take superplasticizers and all, no, we take in terms of we take in the percentage with respect to the cement. So that is why mass of chemical admixtures will be 2%. It's written 2% here in the question. It is given 2%, I guess. Yeah, where is that given? Okay. Okay, it's not given, but they have taken, they have assumed it to be 2%. It's okay. It again depends. If you don't want to take it 2%, 1.5, I mean 2.5 you can take. So here they have taken 2%. It's okay. We'll go with 2% only. So 2 divided by 100 into, you have to take the mass of cement. The mass of cement is 350. Always we take this with respect to the cement. So do that. You are going to get 7 cubic meter of chemical admixture. Now coming to the volume of, yeah, coming to the volume of chemical admixture, mass of chemical admixture divided by specific gravity into 1 divided by 1000. This mass we have got here 7 divided by specific gravity of admixture. You get this from the person who is going to give this admixture to you. There are many companies, like one good company is Sika, right? So Sika is a company which provide you the super plasticizer. You have to ask them. They are going to give you the uh, specific gravity of the admixture. That's it. So multiply this, you're going to get 0.006. Next, volume of all in aggregates is very simple. How do you find volume of all in aggregates? Whatever is a volume of concrete, in that you try to deduct all these things. That is A minus B minus C minus D. That's it. That means A minus B plus C plus D. A is how much? 1 cubic meter always. Minus volume of cement 0.11. You minus that. Okay, minus. You open a bracket here. So 0.11. You will add that plus volume of water 0.140 plus 0.006. If you try to do, no, this is volume of all in aggregates, that is 0.746 cubic meter. Now this is all aggregate. This 0.743, it includes your coarse aggregate, fine aggregate and all, but we want to separate out coarse aggregate and we want to separate out fine aggregate, right? So therefore mass of coarse aggregate is equal to E into volume of coarse aggregate into specific gravity of coarse aggregate into 1000. This is equal to E. E is this value what we are getting. Okay. E in the sense this alphabet E stand for this. Volume in all aggregate is 0.743 into volume of coarse aggregate. So volume of coarse aggregate is 0.56. Yeah, from where we got that 0.56? Yeah, we got it from here, right? 0.56. Volume of coarse aggregate is 0.56. Good. So multiply that 0.743 into 0.56 into specific gravity of coarse aggregate. It's given in the question this you get from sieve analysis. Okay, 2.74 is what you have got. Simple. Then you multiply this by 1000, you're getting 1140 kg of coarse aggregate. Similarly, try to do it for fine aggregate. E is again 0.743 into volume of fine aggregate that you get from the previous. It's given here 0.44, multiply by 0.44 into 2.74 into 1000 comes out to be 896 kg. That's it. Finish. So finally, we have come to a conclusion for this particular M30 grade, and whatever things he has given, no, we can provide this particular mixed design, that is 340 of cement, 140 kg per cubic meter of water, fine aggregate will be 896, coarse aggregate will be 1140, chemical admixtures will be 7, and water cement ratio is 0.40. Now what we have done, we have just made a single trial. Now we need to practically check this with the help of a slump test, and once the slump test passes, then we have to do the cube test, and if both of them passes, then only we can say that for this particular concrete of M30 grade, this proportion you can use freely at the site and you can do the construction, all right. But if you are not able to pass in the slump test, that is if you are not able to get a slump of how much is it given in the question, 100 slump, if you're not able to achieve, and even if you achieve 100 slump, if you're not able to achieve this 30 newton per square strength, then you have to try to play with the these things, that you have to try to change the all these ingredients, try to increase the cement content, bring the coarse aggregate content, that you have to do trial and error method. So in this way, trial number 1, trial number 2, 3, 4, we try to do in the lab, and finally once everything is done, we say that okay, for this particular thing, this is a mixed design what we try to go. Yeah. So I hope you are able to understand this entire thing. Anyhow, we'll be taking up another 2 3 different problems, so that we'll be we'll try to master in this particular mixed design, right? This video has been very long, but I hope you enjoyed this complete mixed design, how it has to be done and all. So we'll see you back in the next lecture. Thank you.